Now, we get a lot of comments about VPNs, virtual private networks. Naturally, I mean, this is a channel where we talk a lot about streaming, and that's something that comes along with streaming often. But I don't talk about VPNs much on this channel. Why is that? Well, it's not because they're not useful, but they might not always be useful in the way that you want. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's dive in. Now, first of all, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this channel and the content that we have here, so hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. Now, VPNs, virtual private networks. What are they? This is kind of a software, it's a go-between that allows you to appear as though you are somewhere else oftentimes. It masks your location, your IP address, that sort of thing, and there are a lot of good legitimate uses for it. It gives you added security, especially if you're on public networks, public connections. If you do work at coffee shops, if you're in airports a lot, then a VPN can keep you safe from hackers who more easily access data on public networks. It also lets you remotely access, say, a business network or a home network if you need access to that on the road. It allows you to appear as though you are still on that business network or home network. And finally, in some countries where censorship is a big issue, VPNs allow people to get around firewalls that cause problems or just don't allow them to access certain data, certain sites. VPNs are a good way to get around those things. But above all, what we hear about most on this channel, like I said, we talk a lot about streaming services, and so VPNs are being used to skirt geographical restrictions on streaming services. This happens a lot with, say, sports streaming services. So NBA TV, MLB TV, NHL TV, a lot of times with these, you'll hear you can access all, or you can watch all out-of-market games live on those services. And so if I'm in Salt Lake City, which I am, I can't watch the Jazz on the NBA's streaming service because that's an in-market team. But I could watch, I don't know, the Knicks or something like that if I wanted to do that for some reason. Then there are also other things like Netflix has different libraries based on your location or your region. And so when you travel overseas, you'll notice that Netflix has a different library there and you can watch different shows. And so if I would rather access that library, I'm going to need to look like I'm accessing the internet from Sweden, which I can do with a VPN. There's only one problem with this, and that's that the streaming services seem to be getting wise to this. And so they're cracking down on VPN usage. But how do they do that? How do they even know that you're using a VPN? Well, there are a few different ways. These streaming services can identify and block known VPN servers and ports. Basically, the traffic that you are creating by accessing, say, Netflix or MLB TV, it does go through certain places. And the VPN makes it look like you are streaming from somewhere else. But they use certain servers, they use certain ports, and those can be identified and blocked by the streaming services. The other way that they could do that is through something called deep packet inspection. Now, there's a lot of data contained in those packets that's going between you and those servers, going through the VPN, and so companies can, if they want to go to the trouble, analyze all of that data, analyze those packets, potentially identify VPNs and shut down traffic coming from them. So why haven't we talked much about VPNs on this channel? Are we just so scared of the legal ramifications? Not necessarily. It is a gray area at best and a gray area at worst. Well, first of all, we're not that interested in inserting ourselves into the arms race here. There's always going to be a way to skirt around end user agreements, and then companies will find ways to shut those ways down, and then new ways will be invented, and so on and so forth. It's an exhausting process that we're not really interested in getting into. And second of all, frankly, I'm more interested in reliability and a good experience for you than saving a couple of bucks. We see this in the comments here on this channel all the time. Somebody will say, my NBA TV stream got shut down even though I'm using a VPN. And somebody else will say, I've never had an issue, I've used a VPN for years. But that unreliability, not being exactly sure what you're going to get with this situation, means it's something that we're not quite sure that we want to recommend people try anyway. So are VPNs not worth it? Well, I didn't say that. Like I mentioned earlier, there are still other reasons to use VPNs, like security and remote network access, that make them a good idea, potentially. If you're wondering which ones I would suggest, I'd probably stick with some of the bigger names like ExpressVPN or NordVPN or IPVanish. They tend to have the most user-friendly interfaces and the best functionality across devices. Plus, The free ones that you get are often basically just ways to install malware, and so I would stay away from those. Make sure you get a subscription VPN if you're looking for one. So anyway, that's it. Let me have it. Hit the comments below. Give me all your thoughts on VPNs. I'm excited to hear you guys tear me apart. So hit those comments, give this video a like, and subscribe if it was helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.